If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Kenny Pickett's journey to secure the starting quarterback position with the Cleveland Browns has hit an unexpected bump in the road, and it comes in the form of a nagging hamstring injury. While injuries are part of the game, this one carries particular weight for Pickett, who is trying to make an impression in a competitive quarterback room that includes seasoned veteran Joe Flacco and the young, promising Dillon Gabriel. Pickett's style of play has always leaned heavily on mobility, using his legs to extend plays and escape pressure. That mobility has been a defining trait since his days at Pitt, and even in his early NFL tenure, it's helped him separate from the pack. But now, with his hamstring limiting his movement and practice reps, Pickett finds himself in the difficult position of having to redefine his approach. Rather than dwell on the negatives, he's choosing to embrace a new challenge, developing his presence and effectiveness from the pocket, a skill set that could prove invaluable in the long run, especially as he looks to evolve beyond just being a mobile quarterback. This injury, while frustrating, might ironically serve as a pivotal moment in Pickett's growth, forcing him to sharpen parts of his game that often get overshadowed by his legs. It's a mindset shift, and he knows it's necessary if he wants to stay in the conversation for the starting gig, especially with reps slipping away in a tight training camp battle. Pickett's candid comments during his press availability show a young quarterback who understands the stakes. He didn't sugarcoat the situation. "If you're not out there, I think it's a setback," he admitted, acknowledging the cold, hard truth that availability is often the greatest ability in a league where roster decisions can pivot on a single preseason series. Pickett knows that missing snaps in camp could cost him precious evaluation time, especially when the coaching staff is looking for leadership, consistency, and command. He's competing against a Super Bowl MVP in Flacco, who's seen every coverage and every blitz the league can throw. Then there's Gabriel, the rookie with a big arm and nothing to lose, a classic underdog in the mix. Pickett, meanwhile, is trying to stake his claim in between those two extremes. He's not the grizzled vet nor the raw prospect. He's the guy with something to prove, a career in transition, a man who's tasted the field but hasn't yet found his footing. And for someone like that, every day missed is magnified. That's why Pickett isn't downplaying the urgency. His tone made one thing clear. This isn't just a hamstring injury. It's a test of mental toughness, resilience, and perhaps most of all, timing. Physically, Pickett says he entered camp in the best shape of his life. That's what makes this setback all the more frustrating for him. By his own account, he was clocking top-end speed metrics, pushing his limits, and aiming to bring a faster, sharper version of himself into 2025. When a soft tissue injury hits at that point, it's like being robbed of momentum before it can even fully take off. But Pickett's focus is now shifting from what could have been to what still can be. "I've never had a soft tissue injury like this," he said. "So really, a first-time experience in my career." He's learning in real time how to navigate a new kind of adversity, one that doesn't necessarily sideline you completely, but keeps you from competing at full throttle. For an athlete like Pickett, whose game thrives on movement and instinct, that's a mental challenge as much as a physical one. He's walking a tightrope between caution and competitiveness, trying not to aggravate the injury while still staying locked in on every play, every rep, every adjustment. It's a delicate balance that will test not just his recovery process, but also his adaptability. In the meantime, the Browns quarterback battle rolls on, and that might be the biggest pressure point for Pickett. With Shedeur Sanders nursing a sore arm, the reps are falling squarely to Flacco and Gabriel. Two players who bring contrasting skill sets, but one shared advantage. They're healthy. Every throw they make in practice, every connection with a receiver, every audible at the line is another chance to impress the coaching staff and climb the depth chart. Pickett, watching from the sidelines or taking limited reps, knows that opportunities are slipping by. It's the brutal reality of NFL training camps. Sometimes, a few practices are all it takes to shift momentum one way or the other, and Pickett is caught in that current trying not to fall behind. That said, his demeanor hasn't shifted toward panic or desperation. Quite the opposite. He's staying vocal in the room, staying in his playbook, staying locked in with the coaches and his teammates. Leadership doesn't pause just because your hamstring does. and Pickett is making sure everyone sees that. Still, no matter how focused or professional he remains off the field, the real evaluation will come when he's back between the lines. And that return can't come soon enough for him. "I'm trying to get back out there, as fast as possible," he repeated multiple times, a clear signal of how badly he wants to get back in the fight. The tone wasn't just about urgency, it was about hunger. It was the sound of a quarterback who's fully aware that the window to make his mark is both small and fast-moving. When he does return, Pickett knows he won't be able to rely on his full mobility right away. That's where the silver lining comes in. If he can master playing from the pocket, reading defenses quicker, making faster decisions, anticipating pressure without necessarily escaping it, he may emerge from this injury with a more complete game. That kind of growth can be a game changer, not just for his current battle with Flacco and Gabriel, but for his long-term NFL trajectory. This is also a moment for Pickett to redefine how he's perceived around the league. Drafted with high expectations, he's shown flashes, but hasn't yet cemented himself as a starter. Injuries like this don't help, but how he responds could tell a bigger story than anything he's done on the field so far. The NFL is filled with quarterbacks who've used adversity as a springboard, guys who learned to win from the pocket when they couldn't rely on their legs, guys who adapted to system changes, coaching shakeups, or unexpected depth chart shifts. Pickett's situation mirrors those paths. And in a league where narratives are constantly evolving, this could be the first chapter in a redemption arc that proves he's more than just a mobile quarterback with potential. He's trying to show he's a leader, a fighter, and a student of the game who's willing to reinvent himself if it means earning that starting role. And make no mistake, he still believes that role can be his. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco's presence looms large. He's calm, composed, and consistent. The kind of quarterback who doesn't need flashy plays to earn trust. Flacco's command of the offense and ability to manage a game is exactly what coaches love in a transitional period. If Pickett is the quarterback of the future, Flacco is the safe, steady option for the now. That puts Pickett in a unique position. He can't out-experience Flacco, and he won't out-athlete Gabriel if he's not at full strength. What he can do, though, is show that he can evolve. If he takes the field later this month with sharper timing, cleaner reads, and a more confident command of the pocket, he could force the coaching staff to take notice. Sometimes the best way to win a job isn't by making the biggest splash, it's by showing you've leveled up in the areas that matter most when the real games begin. And that's what Pickett is banking on. For now, though, the challenge is patience. Hamstrings are tricky. Rush back too soon and you risk re-injury, which could set you back even further. Stay out too long and the battle might be over before you return. Pickett is navigating that fine line with the help of the Browns training staff, but the clock is ticking. Preseason games are approaching. The first team reps are being handed out, and the window to influence the depth chart is shrinking. Every day that Pickett isn't out there, the pressure mounts. But that's the nature of the NFL, especially for quarterbacks. There's no perfect path, only opportunities, and they rarely come without adversity attached. Pickett's job now is to make sure this injury doesn't define his camp. Instead, he wants it to refine his approach, refocus his mindset, and reset the way he attacks the position. That's how you turn a setback into a stepping stone. Pickett's competitive fire remains intact. It's clear in his voice, in his eyes, in the way he talks about getting back out there. He's not defeated, he's driven. This isn't a quarterback sulking about missed time. This is a player recalibrating, retooling, and refusing to let one injury derail what could be a breakout opportunity. Whether or not he ultimately wins the starting job remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Kenny Pickett is not backing down. He's treating this camp, this injury, and this battle like the crossroads moment it very well could be. And in the unforgiving world of the NFL, that mindset might just be his biggest weapon. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. In what could turn out to be a major blow for the Cleveland Browns just weeks before the start of the regular NFL season, rumors have begun swirling around the condition of rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders after reports surfaced that he sustained a potential injury during a closed training session. While no official statement has yet been released by the team, whispers from inside sources suggest that something serious might have happened during a routine red zone drill on Thursday morning. Witnesses describe a sudden stop in practice and a hushed tone overtaking the field as medical personnel were seen rushing toward Sanders, who reportedly remained on the ground for several minutes before being helped off, favoring his leg. This has left Browns fans and the entire NFL community on high alert, especially considering the massive expectations riding on the young quarterback's shoulders. For Shedeur, this isn't just any season, it's his NFL debut, and the hype around him, being the son of Deion Sanders combined with his strong college performance, had many penciling him in as a breakout star. An injury at this point could not only derail his momentum, but also impact the Browns' plans at the most crucial position in the game. Could this really be happening? The timing of this potential injury could not be worse for Cleveland, a team that's already walking a tightrope when it comes to their quarterback situation. With Deshaun Watson still trying to reassert himself and fan faith wearing thin, many saw Shedeur as both an exciting backup and a future franchise cornerstone. Browns training camp had been buzzing with excitement ever since Sanders arrived in it. His reps with the second-team offense were being closely monitored by both coaches and fans alike. If he's indeed hurt, and we must emphasize again that nothing official has been confirmed, this could force a dramatic shift in the Browns' depth chart and training camp plans. Players who were not expected to see significant snaps may now be thrust into the spotlight while the coaching staff scrambles to reevaluate their preseason game strategies. There's also the emotional toll to consider. Shedeur's presence has been electrifying and inspirational, especially among younger teammates who look up to his confidence and lineage. A sudden absence might affect morale. And in a league where momentum is everything, any disruption at the quarterback position, rookie or not, can ripple throughout the entire organization. Adding even more mystery to the situation is the Browns' current media silence. As of now, the team has declined to comment on Sanders' status, fueling even more speculation. Reporters on site were ushered away from the training area shortly after the incident, and players were kept from speaking to the press following the session. That kind of sudden lockdown doesn't typically happen unless the organization is dealing with something unexpected and potentially serious. Social media, of course, exploded almost immediately, with fans, insiders, and even former players weighing in on what could be going on. Some are suggesting it was a non-contact injury, a term that's become synonymous with long-term ligament damage. Others claim he simply rolled his ankle and should be back in a few days. But the fact that he was taken out of practice and didn't return is enough to make this story hard to ignore. As we've seen countless times in the NFL, rumors often contain a seed of truth, and until the Browns address the situation directly, every minute of silence will only add fuel to the fire. One possible reason for the team's tight lips could be the stakes involved with Shedeur's brand and presence. In the NFL, unlike most rookies, Shedeur isn't just an athlete, he's a media personality, a public figure, and someone who brings attention far beyond the sport itself. His father, Deion Sanders, is one of the most iconic names in sports history, and his influence looms large. Every move Shedeur makes is analyzed, debated, and magnified. A sudden injury, especially one occurring before he's even played a regular season, down would be news far beyond just football circles. It would affect endorsements, rookie card values, social media deals, and even television content planning. The Browns may be attempting to control the narrative by delaying any announcements until they have all the medical facts. But fans are rarely patient, and when a young star might be sidelined, the pressure builds fast. Already there are discussions happening online about potential replacements or practice squad promotions, and the front office is surely working behind the scenes to assess their options. Is it just a precaution or something much worse? From a football standpoint, the implications of losing Sanders, even for a few weeks, are significant. Training camp is the crucible where chemistry is built, where timing with receivers is refined, and where the playbook begins to live and breathe. Every snap Sanders misses puts him further behind in his development and limits the coaching staff's ability to evaluate him under live conditions. The preseason was expected to be a showcase for Shedeur, giving him ample opportunity to display his dual threat capabilities poised under pressure. If he's now relegated to the sidelines, all of that evaporates and the team might be forced to pivot toward their more conservative options at QB2. That could mean increased reps for Kellen Mond or Dorian Thompson-Robinson, both of whom have upside but lack the flair and headline appeal of Sanders. Meanwhile, offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey may need to rework certain packages that were tailor-made for Shedeur's skill set. This isn't just about one player. It could alter the very identity the Browns were hoping to shape this season. What makes this story even more emotional is the journey Shedeur has taken to get to this point. Unlike many NFL rookies, his path has been under the spotlight from day one, largely due to his father's celebrity and coaching career. From Jackson State to Colorado, Shedeur has faced pressure most quarterbacks don't even see in their third or fourth pro year. And yet he has risen to the occasion at every level, delivering performances that silenced critics and elevated his stock. Coming into the NFL, many questioned whether he could handle the leap in competition and scrutiny. But early training camp performances hinted at a poised, mature young man ready to take on the league. That's what makes this possible injury so hard to swallow. Not only would it halt his progress, but it would rob fans of witnessing what could have been a thrilling rookie campaign. Even rival teams had been expressing curiosity about how Sanders would translate to the pros. Now all of that excitement hangs in limbo. You also have to wonder how this might affect Deion Sanders emotionally. Coach Prime has always been fiercely protective of his sons, and Shedeur's entry into the NFL has been something of a family milestone. Watching from a distance while your son potentially suffers a significant injury during practice can be excruciating, even for someone as tough and experienced as Deion. Will he comment? Will he travel to Cleveland to be by Shedeur's side? These are questions swirling among insiders and fans alike. Moreover, this event could reignite debates about the physical toll of football, especially in such a high-stakes environment where players are constantly pushing their limits to secure a spot on the roster. In Shedeur's case, the injury, whatever it turns out to be, might reinforce just how fragile these moments are. One twist, one hit, one slip, and everything changes. The journey from college standout to NFL superstar is already steep throw in an untimely injury, and it becomes even more treacherous. Beyond the individual impact on Shedeur and his family, there's the broader storyline about how the Browns handle injuries to their young talent. The organization has a long and complicated history when it comes to quarterback management, and many in Cleveland were hoping the Shedeur era might represent a turning point. If the team fails to manage this situation transparently and compassionately, it could erode the goodwill they've worked so hard to rebuild with their fan base. Already, critics are noting how quickly the team went into media lockdown and how suspiciously quiet everyone has been. Transparency matters, especially when the face of your franchise's future might be in jeopardy. The coming days will be telling, not just in terms of Shedeur's health, but also in how the organization communicates with the public. Will they be upfront about his status, or will they try to minimize the optics until forced to respond for? Now, all eyes remain on Berea, Ohio, where Browns headquarters have become the center of a growing NFL mystery. Until we know more, speculation will only intensify. Is Shedeur Sanders facing a few days of rest or something far more serious? Could this injury delay or even derail his rookie season? What will Deion Sanders say? Will the Browns be forced to explore the free agent market for a temporary QB solution? These are the questions fans are asking, and without answers, rumors are beginning to solidify into assumed truths. It's a reminder of how fast things change in the NFL. One day, you're watching a promising rookie flash brilliance during drills, and the next you're holding your breath after a training camp scare. Whether this is just a blip or the start of a longer saga, one thing is clear. The Shedeur Sanders story just took an unexpected and potentially heartbreaking turn. Stay tuned, because this is a developing situation, and in the NFL, nothing stays secret for long. If the rumors are true, this could reshape not only the Browns' 2025 season, but also the trajectory of one of the most talked about young quarterbacks in recent memory. For Shedeur, the path forward now depends not just on skill or opportunity, but on resilience and recovery. Let's hope for the best, but brace for the worst. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it. with a fellow fan, hit subscribe and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!